One thing I want to point out here, guys, as well, is look at the colours on the male, and then look at the colours on the female. Okay, so the males are the ones trying to impress. They're the ones with the red and the yellowy orange blended in. They're doing the dance. They've got all the nice extra features. You know, they're impressing the women. Well, in human society, women are the ones that put the heels on, the push-up bras, the tight dress, the makeup, you know, the butt pads or whatever. They're the ones that do their hair excessively. Like, a man can show up looking like this brown and green bird on the left, you know, just kind of plain, regular, you know, not try too hard, and can do a great job. And that's because usually in the animal kingdom, the animal that is the brightest colours or has the most exotic feature, like peacock feathers, they're the one who's trying to do the impressing. You know, they're trying to show off, look at me. Whereas in the human worlds, like, that's women. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be slightly different. We're going to be analysing 3 or 4 different clips. The first one's going to entail Dan Bilzerian. He's talking about something, and whatever you think of the guy, and you know, I'm not trying to make everybody on this channel Dan Bilzerian. That's not what this community is about, to be, you know, a player that sleeps with as many women as possible. That's, you know, we're a lot deeper than that. And with respect to Dan, I think this is a much more sophisticated channel than what we're trying to achieve with Outlier Males. But when it comes to women, I mean, say what you want about Dan, whether the money's fake, whether, you know, he's not actually as rich as he says he is, he's still around a lot of women, and he probably has figured out exactly what's going on, okay? And something that I completely agree with him on, I don't agree with him on everything, but something I 200% agree with him on, is his view on chasing women. So there's 2 parts to this, very quickly. I just want to brush over them. And then I want to compare that to animal mating strategies that go on in the real world. And I'm going to show you some clips from like Planet Earth, Blue Planet, those sort of programs that are on the BBC. And for copyright purposes, go and watch these shows. You know, there we go. I've promoted their shows. They can't do shit. But I'm going to show you those clips afterwards, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, and I'm going to translate that to human male life, and I'm going to show you how silly a lot of men look in comparison to somebody who can achieve a good life setup, as Dan calls it.
If you could teach guys like 1 thing or 2 things about women, what would it be? What would you tell them?
Don't chase. Now I realize that a better strategy, if you can do it, a lot of guys don't really have their life set up to do it, is set up your life to where the girls have to come to you, and so you don't have to pursue them. And when you don't have to pursue them, like I said earlier, you know, just the dynamic is different when they're chasing you as opposed to you chasing them.
And everyone has more fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's better for the girl, because then when she finally sleeps with you, she feels like she accomplished something, and you know, and she's like kind of worked for it, so she's a little bit invested. And if you hook up with her, it's because, you know, you've chosen to hook up with her and not because you were chasing something, you know. So I think it's better for both people, actually.
Do you think?
Okay guys, so that was London Real. Go and watch the full interview again, because obviously I'm using their content. It is a really good, interesting interview, regardless of what you think of the guy. But what I'm going to do now is show you the clips from the animal mating world. Okay, so the first one we got here is the Bird of Paradise mating dance. It's from BBC. Go and watch Planet Earth. And it just kind of shows this is how most guys are doing it. And that's what made me think of Dan, is he always says chasing's for the birds, you know, chasing women's for the birds, man. That's what he always says. He's famous. He said it about 10 different interviews that I've seen.
Bird of Paradise calls to attract a female.
Okay, so David Attenborough there saying that the Bird of Paradise calls to attract a female. Okay, so shouting out into the world to attract a female. It's very desperate, it's very thirsty behavior.
And he has more luck. But what does he have to do to really impress her?
Okay, so this is just so over the top, it's ridiculous. Now the beat's quite nice, the dance is quite nice, you know, there's a little bit of rhythm going there at the start, it was quite in tune, but at the end of the day, guys, what the fuck is this? Well, this is the thirsty natured behavior that I always talk about, where guys are, they're trying to impress her. Like, they think that's the whole game, is they have to impress her. I've told you guys so many times before, and a few women actually commented on one of the videos where I talked about external attraction. The majority of women, they really do understand social value and where their position is in life. Like, so many guys walk down the street, they bump into a beautiful woman and they go, wow, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I'm going to make her my wife. I'm going to do all this shit. Don't stop thinking that you're the first guy in the world to have ever seen this woman, because that's the problem with a lot of men, is they see a beautiful woman and they assume she's some innocent virgin that's never been seen by any human eyes in history. She's been locked up in a cave by her dad all this time. It's like, look, she's probably been fucked by 20 different guys. She gets approached by 100 different men per day. She gets 3,000 DMs per day. Like, it's just got ridiculous in modern society. And this whole chasing strategy of I'm going to do my best to impress her, she already knows what she wants. She already knows what she's looking for. And there's a lot of guys out there that say to me in the comments, I don't agree with you on this. I get a lot of luck or a lot of good results from day game, where I just go out and I approach women from pickup, etc. Yeah, maybe. I'm sure I could go on the street and go and get a bunch of 6s and 7s, wearing shit clothes or whatever and not really giving a shit. You dress up a little bit, you probably get like a occasional 7 or whatever, like a top end 7. But, most of these, the exception of Travel Bum, which is why I brought him on the podcast, every single guy that I've ever seen who does pickup, who's enormous, has a massive audience, every girl that they're speaking to is like a 4, like a 5. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't impress me. They're like, oh, this is how you approach women. I got 11 numbers yesterday. And you look at the women on camera that they're talking to, and they're all, I don't like saying, oh, they're ugly, whatever, because everybody's got a different choice or a different level that they're at. But they're not mind-blowing, It doesn't shock me when they got those 11 numbers. I'm like, well, yeah, of course you did. Those girls don't blow me away. They're not that impressive. Like, let's see those guys go and get an 8, a 9, or a 10. I very much doubt they would, because those girls know how high their social value is. They've already got their mind made up. I can't imagine they're going to say, oh, go on, I'll give you 20 seconds to convince me. Like, as much as people say crack a joke, say this one thing, ask her this one question, like, she pretty much already has judged you in the first 7 seconds, 21 seconds. Like, that's what we get in body language for a first impression. So she's already weighed you up and judged you. Most of these top level women know what they're looking for. Okay, they already know what they're looking for. It's like you go to the store, okay? You want to go and buy an Xbox. You want to buy the new Xbox. You go to the store, you don't go in there, and the shopkeeper says to you, hey, yeah, but have you ever thought about buying a hairdryer? You know what? You convinced me. I'm going to go and buy a hairdryer. Like, that's never going to happen, guys. You'll go into the store for an Xbox, you're very likely going to leave with an Xbox plus something else, some extras on top, which might be a dinner date or something like that, or a number or whatever. But these girls are going out purposely to find the exact person that they want. Like, top level women go to certain venues because they know certain guys are going to be there. In the US, how many women go down to the city where it's the All-Star game in the NBA? They go down to that city. When it's the Super Bowl kind of weekend, all these girls, the hottest girls in the country, go down there and they get all dressed up, and because they know that people who are getting tickets there, who have got a box, who are, maybe some of the players will be there and they want to celebrate afterwards. Like, they know that they can find the criteria that they're looking for. But so many guys do this kind of bird of paradise mating dance where they're like really getting in front of the woman, trying to impress her, trying to convince her, like pushing on her too much. Look at me, I'm great. That doesn't work in sales to human, guys. Like, if you call up and you're just like, our product's great because, hey, it's the best at this, it has this, it has this, it has this. Like, you don't sell features, okay? You ask questions. And if the woman's already got her mind made up, she's not going to answer those questions. And it's the same in sales. Like, if I called somebody up and said, are you in the market for this? What problems have you faced with your one recently? If they said, no, my one's great, it's fine, I don't have any issues, well, it's over. I might as well put down the phone and find somebody who is interested. And it's the same with women. So if you meet a woman and you're like, God, my game wasn't good enough, she was already decided. She might have been too high a level and she just didn't think you were at that level. And this is why these mating strategies from these birds and these animals, they're so alike, these thirsty guys. They're so similar to these guys that are just chasing women on a daily basis. And I'm telling you guys, it doesn't work. At the end of this video, I'll spoil it. The other bird flies away, the female one, and I'll show you another example of this. This is a separate example, but along the same lines.
She appears to be transfixed.
One thing I want to point out here, guys, as well, is look at the colours on the male, and then look at the colours on the female. Okay, so the males are the ones trying to impress. They're the ones with the red and the yellowy orange blended in. They're doing the dance. They've got all the nice extra features, you know, they're impressing the women. Well, in human society, women are the ones that put the heels on, the push-up bras, the tight dress, the makeup, you know, the butt pads or whatever. They're the ones that do their hair excessively. Like, a man can show up looking like this brown and green bird on the left, you know, just kind of plain, regular, you know, not try too hard, and can do a great job. And that's because usually in the animal kingdom, the animal that is the brightest colours or has the most exotic feature, like peacock feathers, they're the one who's trying to do the impressing, you know, they're trying to show off, look at me. Whereas in the human world, it's like, that's women. Women are the ones who are trying to impress. And they might say, oh, it's to compete with other women, or it's to impress other women, or it's for myself. Yeah, sure it is, yeah. Because I imagine if you were in an I Am Legend situation tomorrow, you'd be walking around in lingerie and heels so that, you know, 0 people could enjoy it, like it, whatever. Like, of course you're doing it for attention, right? It's insane that women say that. But I get why they say it, because otherwise it sounds thirsty. But, you know, what they're trying to say is, I'm not doing it for you, the guys on here, I'm doing it for LeBron James. That's basically what they're trying to say, right? Or the equivalent of that they can actually land. And that's what it is. Women are the ones dressing up. They're the bird on the right. They're orange and yellow, you know, the bright colours, etc. They're the ones being flamboyant. We're just, you know, plain on the left. We don't really go too extravagant unless we pull up in something like a nice car, whatever. But that's more life setup, and we'll get to that later. But women are the ones, you know, like I said, putting the makeup on, doing their hair, earrings, jewelry, whatever. Like, we're not doing that. They're fake tanning. Most guys aren't doing that, you know. It's what you're seeing here with the birds. This is a female to male interaction. Like, it's the other way around. But in humans, for some reason, even though we know that women are the bird on the right, we seem to follow suit.
This is certainly eye-catching, but it seems he needs to do more. Generously, she drops him a hint.
Okay, so this moment here, this is kind of, I don't like using the term, but because it's all gamey, but this is like one of those shit tests where the woman's like, oh, you know, maybe you should wear this. Like when a woman tries to change what you wear, you know, tries to go shopping for you and says, oh, you'd look really nice in, I had an ex-girlfriend before that said, you'd look really nice in an Audi. You'd look really nice in this blue watch. I'm going to buy it for you. Do you know what you'd look really nice in? These jeans and this t-shirt. And I was like, no, fuck you. Like, you're not buying me anything. And I didn't appreciate that. But a lot of guys would be like, yeah, sure, who do you want me to be? And so many guys go and get, let's say, mortgages. They go and get certain jobs because their girlfriend said, hey, that's a great job. It'd be high paying. Whereas really that guy wants to quit out and start a hot dog company. But his girlfriend's like, there's no money in that. Get it. Like, so many guys get pushed down this route, like we've seen here, where the female says, hey, here, pick up this berry and impress me with this, you know, make it more flamboyant. It's the same thing. It's what women do. Look at me, I'm sexy. I've got the sex appeal. Take this, do what you need to do. You know, impress me with it. And it's just so silly, guys. It's just so silly. That's what so many men are going through. They're like doing things because a woman told them to do it. You know, why don't you buy nicer shoes? Oh, like when we were in school, we all did it. Girls said, oh, you'd look better if you had your hair like this. Within 2-3 weeks, you always cut your hair like that. You know, you changed your image. Or girls said, oh, you dress immature. Next thing you know, you're showing up in shirts, you know, button shirts to school discos. And that's something we did when we were young. But as you get older, you realize you just want to be yourself, crack on with your own life and do what you can. But again, this same thing here, let me fast forward.
It's all going so well, it's time to get physical, with a few headbutts to her chest.
I mean, I don't know, guys. It's a bit much, isn't it? I have no idea what these birds are doing. Headbutting the chest, it just seems a bit weird, doesn't it? But the equivalent to this, I would say, is sending a woman like 15 text messages in a row with no reply and putting a question mark at the end. Being like, hey, 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 you know, that's what it looks like to me. And that's what a lot of guys are doing again. They're just kind of forcing it forward. They're chasing. Like, it's too much.
Of effort. But something's wrong. His rival is back, and at the worst possible moment.
And here's the thing, okay, guys. Number one, he's frozen in time, which probably doesn't... You know, I know it's the bird kingdom. I'm not an expert in their body language, but he's frozen there. He's just shown his true colours, really, there. He's, you know, guy's a pussy. He doesn't deserve to mate. But at the same time, this is why this strategy doesn't work in human males. Is because at any point, some other guy could come along and do the same thing, and which they always are. You know, you're sending all these texts, you're, you know, trying to meet up with her, you're forcing it, you're doing a little dance for her, like metaphorically is what I'm saying, you're trying your hardest, being thirsty. Well, there's another 15, 20 guys doing the same on the same day. Guess what you become? You just become one of many. You know, you can't stand out with this strategy. It just doesn't work anymore. There's too many men on the planet. There's too many, and there's not enough hot women. You know, if every woman on planet Earth was hot, it'd be effortless, guys. But we've probably got like a 1 in 100 ratio where 100 guys want every like single one hot woman. You know, she's probably got 100 guys chasing her at any given time, and you get in this scenario where you can do this dance, you pick up the berry. You know, I'm talking metaphorically here, guys. Obviously, use your imaginations, and you can do everything possible to attract her. All that has to happen is some other guy needs to come along. And at the end of this video, she doesn't fly off with that other guy, but she just flies off. It just loses interest. You know, oh, these two guys are competing for me. See ya. You know, they're both beta males, so to speak. We've seen that before, where two guys are arguing over a girl, and she's like, oh, it's pathetic, bye. And like just walks off. This is exactly what human males are doing now. This is why so many guys are failing, and they can't get past the fact. I'm going to go through this in a video soon. This is the most important thing in a man's life. I'm going to make a video on male timing in life. It's the most important thing. But so many guys want to use what they've got now to attract what they can now, rather than build and wait and then go and get something better down the line. Like, they're willing to cash in all their chips now for a small prize. It's almost like, here's a great example. Buying in Bitcoin in the earliest possible stage, and when it went to $100, selling the lot and being like, yes, I made 20 grand. You know, and then 5-10 years later, people are multi-millionaires and whatever, and you've missed out on it. Like, that's what a man's life feels like to me, to so many guys. They're going, right, I'm 23, I need to go and sleep with as many women as I can now. I'll never get to the top. It's like, well, yeah, if you're not trying to build yourself, if you're not building that life setup, you're only going to get what you can accomplish now. Like, you're cashing in too soon. You're not, you know, take a run up. Go back a bit, build up. And the strategy you guys should take is this next animal. This is the best mating strategy for humans I've ever seen in my life. So here, guys, we've got the pufferfish. This is from Life Story, apparently, by the BBC. Go and watch that. And I remember watching this years ago. It was really good, actually. But this guy's building something. He's building life setup. Take a look.
He can't rest for more than a moment, but must work 24 hours a day for a week, or the current will destroy.
Who does that sound like, guys? This guy can't rest for a moment. He works 24 hours for a week, flat out. Sounds like these successful entrepreneurs that you hear about, okay? Who just work relentlessly to build something great.
His creation. A final tidy up, and his masterpiece is complete.
Okay, so you get the idea. This pufferfish has worked tirelessly for a week to build something great, which to us just looks like a sand mosaic or something, okay? But the human equivalent of this would be to build a business for 10 years. You know, these guys don't live that long. That's just the nature of their lives, you know, but put into equivalent terms, it would be like us for 5-10 years building a great business or building a great body, or, you know, just rising up into a company and getting a great job and working for 3 years and getting to a decent position. You know, all of those things at once. Maybe each circle, each groove represents a new thing that you've improved upon. Either way, this guy has just gone out there into the world, ignored women. That's the key here. He's ignored women. He's gone out there and he's built something great for, number one, himself, and number two, to attract women. Now, a lot of guys always ask me, why should I go and spend my time, money, and so much effort? Isn't this more effort attracting women? You know, by building something great, building a big business, injecting my time, money, and effort, whatever, just so that a woman can have a better life and choose me. Yeah, I get it, guys. It sucks, to be honest. It's pretty shit. Ideally, we'd all get laid by the hottest women on the planet on demand, but this is just the nature of the game, and you got to play the game. There's a song that is going around a lot at the moment. It's Cardi B. One of the lyrics is, "Broke boys don't get no pussy. Broke boys don't deserve no pussy." I know that's right. And it's just the culture that we're living in, guys. Okay, and like, you don't necessarily have to be rich. I'm just saying you have to build something. I always say this to you guys. Like, Bill Gates isn't sleeping with the best looking women on the planet. Okay, I'm sure he'd do better than if he was broke. But at the same time, you know, he's not sleeping with the best looking women on the planet, okay? He might even be sleeping with Kevin Kline. There's a little conspiracy theory you guys should look into. It's actually really funny. But either way, he's not sleeping with the best looking women on the planet. So we know money alone isn't a measurement of what guys get, but life set up and having something, you know, valuable around you. So let's look at the average... Let's look at the average NBA player, for example. Look how rare those guys are. They're tall, they're in shape, you know, they're quite masculine guys, they're athletically built, they've got great genetics, clearly. You know, they've got loads of money, their life setup's amazing, they got the fame to go with it, they're traveling around the world. So, like, of course women are going to look at those guys and be like, wow, that's impressive. You know, it's the same if you had a great job, or you were an entrepreneur, for example, and you were traveling the world, taking 5 holidays per year, you're posting about it. You know, maybe you own, like, Dan Bilzerian always talks about, like, people who own a modeling agency and stuff like that, and they've got those girls coming to them, or you don't have to do that. I always recommend you follow your passion, but you get the idea, right, guys, that you have access to these women. My old mentor used to run I Like Girls Daily. He used to message Anna Cherie, what's the other one? It's a real famous one, I can't remember her name now. Summer Rae, she used to message him. And they'd message him on a weekly basis and be like, hey, can you post my stuff? Anyway, thanks, yeah. Anyway, how are you? Like, that would be them. They'd be like, how are you? Because they obviously had to kind of stay in his good books, because every time he posted them, they got like an extra 100,000 followers or something crazy. So it's kind of, sometimes it's that live setup. But going out into the world and building something great and ignoring women like this pufferfish, which I know sounds stupid, but it's the way to do it. Like, there's not a woman in sight. He's just gone out, he's built what, in the pufferfish world, is his purpose. This is what he has to do, okay? He's gone out and accomplished it. And in the human world, that's things like having a house, having a nice car potentially, you know, having a business that makes a lot of money, being independent, financially independent, having, you know, multiple holidays, maybe a holiday home or something. Like, these are all signals, or being in great shape. Like, you have to build a body. That's the exact same as what this guy's doing here. You know, he's, by doing this for 24 hours straight, you know, he has to be in great physical health. So he's done the right things. He's kept himself at the elite outlier pufferfish male level. And this is, I know it all sounds stupid, guys, but this really does correlate, in my opinion. And he's gone out there and he's achieved what he has to achieve in his ecosystem. Now, in ours, like I explained, there's multiple different things you have to do. You might have to get in shape. You might have to read 200 books and learn a language, become more cultured. You know, you have to go out there into the world and build a better man. And the old saying goes, and it's always mentioned on this channel, if you build it, they will come. And that's what this guy has done. This pufferfish has gone out and built instead of chased, and the women will swim past, I guess, and that will catch their eye and be like, wow, that guy's got to be in great physical health, or that's really impressive, that turns me on, I'm going to mate with this pufferfish. What the fuck am I talking about? No, this is accurate, I got to admit. And this is a much better strategy for you guys. Instead of chasing all the time, like, go out into the world and build something great. You know, chasing would work if you were like one of 7 guys on the planet, okay? And women would be impressed by that. Or if we were in the 1800s and a man approaching you is like, wow, I must be attractive. He said I was beautiful. Wow, it's the first time I've been called beautiful since I was born. You know, now it's all numb. It happens every single day. It happens every second of every single day. You're better off building, as Dan Bilzerian says, I've heard Jake Paul talk about this too, his life setup. Go and build something where your life is something that women want to be a part of. Something that they take. This is the thing, right, guys? A lot of it is just letting women know that you exist. You know, sometimes it can just be a single message. She likes it, sends a love heart back, and that's it. You never respond again. You just crack on with your own life. You follow her, she follows you back, and you just get on with your life. You know, you start posting pictures, whatever. You start, like, she can now see into your life. She now knows that you exist, and that could be enough. It just opens the door. And it's very much the marathon mindset that I spoke to you guys about before, of just going about your day, being polite, you know, getting on with what you do in life. And over time, you'll leave such a good impression on so many different people that men will speak highly of you, women will speak highly of you, women will be attracted to you, they'll have you on their radar. Like, there's so many women now in my life that message me, they DM me, and they're like, you know, I liked you way back 3 years ago. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Like, I was just polite. That's what they'll say. Oh, you were just nice, you were polite, you never tried to hit on me. As long as you do it for long enough and you're building a great life alongside that, the women will come to you guys. They will come after you. And you can't really fuck up from there either. You can't really fuck up from there. That's one thing that I've noticed. When you're chasing a woman, one bad text or one bad move and she's gone, because she's already on that red alert. But when they're chasing you, they want you for a reason. They let a lot more slide. Like, you can fuck up about 8 times and she'll still show up at the door. It's really weird. It works differently when the woman actually chases you and wants you. And sometimes both of you can be on equal level and it just works out. You know, you're both 30 and she's rushing to have kids and she's desperate. You know, I recommend going with a younger woman, but that's what happens a lot of times. You know, a lot of people force themselves together because they're both desperate and scared of being alone. But the best strategy is to go and build a great life setup. You know, do what this pufferfish has done. Just go out into the world, ignore women, be polite to everybody, be civil, be nice. Don't have to be a nice guy, but you just, you know, do what you're supposed to do. Don't be a Harvey Weinstein type creep, and just crack on with your life. Just be, like people always say, be you. This is what they mean. Just do you, basically. Just get on with your life. Try and build something great. Be more focused on your business. Be more focused on your gym work. Be whatever, and then trust in the process, because they will come to you. You know, it's like a sports athlete. If you train the hardest and you're in the gym and, you know, and you get in game day and you're focused and you play well, the coaches will come to you. The teams will come after you. They will chase after you. They'll say, oh, we need to sign this guy. We need him on our team. Well, women are the same. They're like, I want to be with that man. I need him on my team. Like, he's exactly what I've been looking for. But you don't get there by chasing. Like, you're not going to change who you are by chasing. You're going to waste minutes, seconds, hours. Like, just don't do that chasing game. The chasing game doesn't work. There's so much time that gets invested into that. The dates, the money, it doesn't work. You're better off spending that time and that money on a business, on investing in yourself, on, you know, education, on crypto, on stocks, whatever it might be. Just smart investments that will help you to sustain where you want to be in life, and then you'll get all the women. Like, everybody's going to come after you at that point. You know, it's very similar to business. You force a business, you rush a business through, you try and build something like a short-term thing to make a lot of money, and yeah, you might get some short-term success, but long-term you're going to have nothing left. And it's the same with business and women. You know, if you build for the sustainable time, you sacrifice in the short term. 10 years time, you know, you've got unlimited business, you could retire basically, and you've got money coming in left, right, and center. It's the same with women. You could never chase again. You might have women coming in left, right, and center. It's too easy at that point. It's just an investment game, guys. And these animal mating strategies are bang on, and they echo what Dan Bilzerian talks about. And, you know, his advice on women, I think, is pretty bang on. I think he's very reasonable and level-headed. I think he knows the crack. He knows what's going on. And this, if you ever feel down about not being able to attract women, you just got rejected, whatever, go and build something, guys. Go and build something great. It's what everybody does. It's what Mark Zuckerberg did. That's what, you know, and he's not exactly the best looking guy on the planet, you know, but he's got someone, you know, I'm sure he could have, if he wasn't so weird, I'm sure he could get some real nice women. Like Evan Spiegel was dating that model, can't remember her name now, the Australian one. Like, he's not exactly like the most Chad looking guy on the planet, as a lot of people say. you know, but he went and built something great, and then, you know, that woman's taken note of him. And that's what I said to you guys. You just need people to take notice of you. Know you exist. Once they know you exist, and they might not even message you, but they just know you exist and they're intrigued. They're like, that's a guy who's out in the world doing something. He's not what I want, but, you know, you're on their radar, so that when that day does come and you are at a high level, you know, they've been watching you, taking note of you, because believe me, this is what women do. They always check in. They always have a look. They think about dating, relationships, marriage, all this stuff all the time. And they've always got options and B options and C options and whatever. That's what they're going to do. They're going to check in at some point, see that you're killing it in life, and they're going to be like, hey, I haven't spoke to you in a while. Now they're chasing you. The dynamic's completely changed. And this is why these animal mating strategies are so key, okay? And the other one I think that's close to what we do is when, like, a male stag is one of the beta males because he's young, and then the stag that's been the alpha for a long, long time gets a lot older, and they get weaker, and, you know, it gets to a point where they can be overpowered. Well, it's the same in human life, where a man doesn't reach his peak until like 37, and a lot of guys in their 20s are chasing women, they're bucking around, so to speak. They think, oh, I use all my energy, and then the guys who are actually better positioned just kind of swipe them away to the side. But then when those guys get a little bit older, you know, they fade away, and their energy goes a little bit, their looks fade away. You start coming into your prime, you know, now it's your time to shine. And I think those two strategies together, that kind of replacement of the alpha, the kind of stag strategy, plus this one of building a life, is where we need to focus our energies. And I think trusting in the process of the stag, that one day you will rise up to be in the male advantage position where you now have the power as the man, but then also at the same time putting the work in like this guy has here, and then blending the two together is the perfect mating strategy for human males.